And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. And if you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. And if you think somebody might actually find this interesting, there's no law that says you're not allowed to hit the share button and share this with them as well. So everybody's calling me and asking me, so, what should we do with our portfolios? We've got an election coming up in a few days, in a week, right? A presidential election between Vice President Harris and former President Donald Trump. I'm gonna go the route of the LA Times and the Washington Post. I'm not gonna give who I believe everybody should vote for. I know everybody's waiting on with bated breath to see who I'm recommending. I'm going to stay out of the political fray, as I was taught many, many years ago, and nothing good can come out of publicizing anything along those lines, and I'm not going to do it. But everybody's asking me, what if, Harris wins? What if Trump wins? What does it mean with my portfolio? What does it mean on anything? And the answer is probably nothing. Doesn't really make a difference who is the president. I know people like to say, well, if the other side wins, forget it. Catastrophe is going to happen. Well, it's not, in terms of markets, that doesn't really happen. It doesn't make a lot of difference which party's in the White House. Obviously, as I've spoken before, right, for the markets, sort of the best situation is where there's divided government, probably, because that way politicians can't screw things up. That's probably, let's face it, the reason that markets do best when there's split government. When one party controls both Congress and the presidency, that tends to, I think, statistically, sort of produce the lowest returns for markets. But I wouldn't be too worried about it. Obviously, there's certain sectors and parts of the market which might benefit, for President Trump or President Harris. Everybody talks about energy and the small cap stocks doing great with, if President Trump were to become president, and high tech would continue to do well if Harris were to become president. So there's no real way to know, right? What's important is to trust the process. Now, there are other issues, right? People are worried, they say, well, the stock market should do well. If Trump becomes president and the bond market's going to have is going to do better if Harris is president. I don't know. The fact of the matter is the bond market could be up the creek anyway, unless somebody decides to tackle spending. And I know that Trump has floated the idea of having Elon Musk sort of come in and sort of do what he did to Twitter and cut lots and lots and lots of excess fat. It's probably easier to do that in a what was then a publicly traded company than it is to do, and then a private company than it is to do with the government. But that would be something that's probably actually good, right? There's plenty of fat that could be trimmed. But again, nobody knows, right? And 4 years of presidency, there's a lot that happens that's completely out of the president's control. There are geopolitical issues. And let's face it, ultimately, it's up to us, right? The president's not going to make whoever president is not going to make our lives better or worse. We control that, right? We partially control that. Some of us might believe that God also controls that, but be that as it may, whoever the president is, right? They're not going to fix your problems, right? You can fix your own problems, right? Whether it's getting out of debt, whether it's whatever, right? You are the solution to your own problems. So the fact of the matter is, in terms of stock markets, I'm not talking about other issues, but in terms of stock markets, there probably isn't much of a difference statistically, right? That's what the data says. Whoever the president is, again, split government in terms of stock market returns generally produces the best returns, and the worst returns, which are also positive, come from when one party controls everything. Again, I'm not recommending who to vote for. Go ahead, make your own informed. I would caution you to actually make an informed decision. That's probably a good thing for democracy. But I will stay out of the fray and tell you who you should vote for. You can you're all big boys and girls. You can make your own decisions, but just don't worry. Don't worry about your portfolio. Just stay the course, right? Have the allocation which is correct for you, right? Which is how you're breaking up, sort of the more aggressive, the stock part of the portfolio, the more growth-oriented part of the portfolio with fixed income. that ultimately is what's going to determine what kind of returns you have, but stay the course. Again, if you can afford to be in the stock market, linked to the stock market, and you've got a long-term horizon, it really doesn't make much of a difference who is going to be the president. Things are going to go up, things are going to go down. I guarantee it. Things are going to go down, right? I know we've had a couple of great years, but those come on the heels of a pretty crappy year, right? Which was 2022. So things go up, things go down, stay the course. That's actually the best advice I can give. Happy voting. Thanks so much for tuning in. You've been watching the Aaron Katzman Show. We speak about your life, your money, and your investments. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. And if you've not yet done so, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and to the podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.